Ladies and gentlemen, this next topic of discussion is scheduled for one fall with a 20-minute time limit. Jabba Jab proudly brings to you
the squash match.
This is going to be a short recorded segment, of 20 minutes or less, where King Cruze and I will go into depth about whatever topic it is we choose. And we are going to, no holds barred, our feelings, our thoughts, our opinions, expletives allowed, if you will. This week, we're going to go ahead and we're going to focus on... Go ahead.
Jim Ross upsetting AEW superstars. Now, again, this is a segment that may not have fit in a regular Jobber Jab segment, so we're here going to give you a squash match and get in-depth into it. So do you have your timer?
Timer is set.
I'm going to read the article, and then we're going to jump right into it. Jim Ross was unhappy that the DDT and Superkick are no longer finishers in pro wrestling, and that the evolution of pro wrestling has not made a difference. I quote, "That evolution of the business is bullshit. Yes, they should be protected. The DDT is a finish. The Superkick is a part of the flow of the match now. Nobody wins with it. What does that say to you? Does that say guys back in the day were more proficient delivering a DDT or a Superkick than in this generation where things are evolving? I want some proof of that shit. I want somebody to prove to me that the changing of the wrestling business is what it is today and it's making a difference. I say no. I told the kid the other day at AEW that everybody does the same fucking spot."
Okay, so I'm going to be first to go ahead and jump on that bandwagon and say I completely agree. You're taking everything away from these moves by continuously doing them over and over again. I'm gonna start off with the DDT. You know, it was originally called Damien's Death Trap. It was created and implemented by Jake the Snake Roberts for that reason. And he would come out, and if he laid you down with the good old DDT, you were done for.
I agree with you. And DDT is now a transitional move. The Rock did it to set up the People's Elbow. There are variations of the DDT. Randy Orton does an apron.
Apron DDT. And that should kill people.
Yeah, and it looks phenomenal. But you mean to tell me that Jake the Snake did this DDT and ended matches, but it's not doing it now? What does that say about that old generation? That if I took a DDT from them, I'm not going to make it? But I can take one from today's superstar? Are they that weak right now?
Yeah, it's basically implying that the superstars nowadays doing the moves are weaker, so to speak. Which, I mean, Jake the Snake is a gruff guy. I imagine his DDT hurts like, not to steal anything from Vampiro, but the last nail in the coffin, so to speak. It would hurt. Whereas, but like you see Randy Orton do it, and you're wondering like, how is this guy not doing the paralyzed shake in the middle of the ring? Why is he not overselling it, if you will?
That DDT looks to me like a finish. That should be a finish.
It should be a finish.
Now, again, it's just a transitional move. It's used all the time, very often. These finishing moves are not being protected. Edge, at one point, did the execution, which was a lift-up DDT. Didn't end matches. You have variations of it as a finish. You have the Paradigm Shift by Jon Moxley. Mm-hmm. You have the Andrade, I believe it's an armbar DDT.
Armbar into the DDT. Tessa Blanchard does the same thing.
Exactly. Raven did the Even Flow.
The Even Flow DDT. Mankind with his double arm DDT, the Cradle DDT.
Yes. There are variations that make the move look even more impactful, but it's been tainted with the overuse. And I have to go again with what else he says. The super kick.
The super kick has totally been overused. Back in I'm going to say 80s and 90s, you had Shawn Michaels who would tune up the band. He'd get those stomps going. You knew it was coming. You knew when he made contact with this guy, his head was coming off.
Now, Shawn Michaels first utilized the super kick when he kicked Marty Jannetty. If you don't remember that clip, look it up. Kicks him and then proceeds to throw him through a window.
I think that was the breakup of the Rockers.
Yes, that signaled the Heartbreak Kid, that transition. Now, he'll give credit where credit's due. The gentleman, Chris Adams, actually first did the thrust super kick, and that was his finisher. Shawn Michaels utilized it. He's credited with it, but he will give credit where credit's due. When Shawn Michaels does it, he tunes up the band and then kicks you. And yes, it gets a pop. When he slaps his thigh and creates that sound effect, you think he just kicked this man's head off.
Now, fast forward into modern day AEW, okay? You've got the ones that probably use the super kick the most outside of New Japan. and that's the Young Bucks.
We're looking at you, Young Bucks.
You know, how many super kicks does it take to put somebody down? I can remember counting matches, not necessarily in AEW, but with the Young Bucks, Generation Me, when they laid out these super kicks, and you're talking 6, 7 kicks sometimes to a guy before he's down for the count. That should never happen with a super kick, especially when you guys are doing the super kick party. I'm sorry, Matt, but when you and Nick are going back and forth, super kick after super kick after super kick, there is no way in hell this guy should be taking 4 kicks to the face and kicking out of a 3 count.
I love a good super kick party just as much as the next guy.
And as a tandem finisher, it's great.
It's great. It should end matches. But I can count. I'll lose track of the superstars that use the super kick. Dolph Ziggler. You have Adam Cole. The Young Bucks. The Lucha Bros.
The Lucha Bros.
Kevin Owens. You have super kicks across the board. But my man HBK shows up and that ends a match. That almost ended the streak.
He kicked Stan.
Who kicked Stan?
Talk about controversy.
Right. You're not protecting finishes. It bothers me when this happens because I don't believe it. And yeah, you can say whatever you want about wrestling being scripted. Not saying it's fake.
Not
scripted.
Fake, scripted. Let me powerbomb you and tell me how fake that is.
You fall off a ladder and tell me it's fake. Smart ass. It's not fake. It's scripted. Things are predetermined. You cannot tell me. Watch Shelton Benjamin springboard and do a super kick and tell me he didn't actually get kicked. He got kicked in the mouth.
Another super kick.
Rey Mysterio, same thing. He got kicked in the face.
He got thrown off the building.
He almost died.
Yeah. They killed the guy.
But again, that is a finish, and we're not utilizing it as a finish. It is just a transition move. Everybody does it. There's nothing special.
Hindsight 2020. You've got CM Punk who used the GTS, and then you had
Kenta.
Thank you. Okay. They used the GTS to go to sleep. You didn't see anybody get up from that. You don't see anybody get up from the pedigree. And ultimately, in overusing a move, you're stopping the, so to speak, passing of the torch. You have The Miz, who got permission to use the figure 4 from Ric Flair.
Yes.
You've got Kevin Owens, who got permission to use the stunner from Stone Cold.
Yes.
Okay, now if you have these moves, and I'm not talking that gay-ass backpack stunner that Cena tried for like 3 months. I'm talking the KO.
First of all.
Don't go there.
It was a good stunner, but it didn't end matches, and that pissed me off. If you're doing a springboard stunner, that ends. Done. It's over. That was a finish. And you tainted Stone Cold by doing it not as a finish.
But you've had the passing of the torch. KO now has the stunner. To an extent, you've got Seth Rollins with the pedigree.
Yeah.
Okay, only because they outlawed the stomp for a little bit.
Yeah.
When you do the passing of a torch and you keep the move strong, it adds to the pop that you get when you see it. If you've got Seth Rollins coming in the ring and he starts going for the underhooks to do a pedigree, people are going to cheer. Now, if you got every Yahoo in the business coming in and nailing a pedigree, and then guys just boom and hopping right back up from it, I'm not going to give a shit when I see those underhooks coming, unless you're going to do something cool like a Tiger Driver or something similar to that. And I'm wondering, it can't be a lack of creativity. It really can't. If you really need help, there's video games out there that'll help you.
Create a wrestler. You'll find.
Pull up any SmackDown versus Raw, WWE 2K. Don't use 2K20. That was an awful game. Anyways, use 2K19 and go through the Create a Wrestler moves. There are literally tons of moves that you can do. I don't care if you innovate a roundhouse and turn that into a finisher, kind of like Kofi Kingston did. Do something original. That's all we're asking. It's not repetitive. Or if you are going to do it, get permission from the wrestler that originated it or that used it and made it popular, and do the passing of the torch, like I said, so to speak. You know, the next wrestler that inherits the Tombstone Piledriver can make it epic, as long as they don't do any of that weird cross-legged shit or whatever the hell you saw in TNA for a while.
Absolutely.
But you have the chance to make a move epic. Don't mess it up by overusing it in the ring.
Enough said.
We are at 10 minutes and 43 seconds.
That's a squish match.